What is going on, guys? My name is 4G. So today I wanted to make a video talking about collab seasons in Fortnite because I don't think they have a place in this game, if I'm being completely real. And this is not coming from someone who just hates a particular franchise. I don't dislike Star Wars because that is the particular franchise we're going to be talking about in a second, and we'll get into that. And I also don't dislike Marvel, which is the current only franchise that we've seen in Fortnite when it comes to a complete collab season. I actually like both of these different franchises for movies, games, whatever it might be. I actually do enjoy them, but here's the thing. I like them separate from games like Fortnite. I don't always need them to combine. I know this is the unpopular opinion here. A lot of people like when they do collabs, and honestly, I wouldn't mind it if it was a rare thing, but it's not rare in Fortnite whatsoever, and it's not rare in the gaming industry anymore. Fortnite has created this big explosion when it comes to collabs in different games, and I know a lot of people love them, but I'm not one who is always on that same page. Sometimes I do, especially when a game does it very rarely, but when games like Fortnite do it all the time, it does get a bit tiresome, if I'm being completely honest. And when it comes to something like an entire season themed around one particular franchise, that's when I feel like we've already crossed a line. I mean, we crossed a line a long time ago with collabs, but this is like another line that we're crossing because, yes, we've had collab seasons before, but now they seem to be a little more common because if you don't know, there should be a Star Wars themed collab season for Chapter 6 Season 3. This is a leak. I don't exactly know if it's true. We don't know. We'll have to see, but by the sounds of it, and just based off the fact that a lot of these leaks end up being true, that is pretty crazy. It doesn't sound unlike Epic Games whatsoever. We've already had a million different Star Wars themed collabs all the way back from like 2019 onward. We've had so many different things, multiple different times where lightsabers have been in the game. We've had mythic items that give you access to the Force. We've had Star Wars themed mini battle passes already, which is kind of funny that we're now going to have yet another one because this is actually going to only be about 30 days long. But the fact that it is an entire season is my problem. Having a Fortnite battle pass, or a battle pass for any game in my opinion, should be something that is trying to appeal to the vast majority of players. So when you have something that is restricting it to one franchise, I feel like that just narrows down the amount of people who would be interested in it, and that just ultimately makes for a poor season, or just not as good of a season as something that is original and is actually trying to appeal to everybody, or is trying to set an original theme for that game. Star Wars is not an original theme to this game, okay? Let's be real. And again, I'm not hating on Star Wars. I'm not hating on Marvel, none of that. But when it comes down to it, these things should not be always injected into the game. And I'm getting kind of sick and tired of seeing Disney always doing this with Fortnite. At some point recently, I don't know if it was a year ago or 2 years ago, I don't exactly remember, they purchased a big chunk of Epic Games, and now they've just been injecting everything that they can from their franchises into Fortnite. And me making this video is not going to change any of that, but I still just want to talk about it because it is kind of frustrating to me, okay? It is kind of frustrating to see this all the time. The fact that they're trying to put Lightning McQueen and Mater from Cars into Fortnite is ridiculous to me. Like, I get it, the Incredibles, you know, Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, okay, sure, they're people. These are cars. And okay, I guess they're for rocket racing, I guess, but it still just sounds absolutely ridiculous. And this is coming from someone who grew up with all of these different franchises. I just don't think that they belong in Fortnite. I don't know why that's such a controversial take. I don't understand that, to be completely honest. I just think that some things are just better separate, okay? You can enjoy them separately, but you don't always have to combine them. Like, there's a million different foods, for an example. Funny enough, I don't have an example for one. I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's a million different foods that are fantastic separately, but as soon as you try to combine them, it's kind of disgusting, right? It's the same thing to me with Fortnite making collab seasons. It doesn't make sense to me personally. I think it's better when Fortnite does collabs periodically than as consistently as they do. The amount of collabs in this game is absolutely insane. But you know what, like I said, when it's just talking about the item shop, I don't even care anymore. There's just so many skins at this point, it doesn't even matter, okay? But when you're making entire battle passes around it, now it's right in my face. I can't ignore it if I wanted to. The entire season is themed around it. You're gonna have lightsabers, you're gonna have a million different things. For the 1000th time, by the way, this is another problem with it. It's not like this is some unique thing that they've never done. They've had multiple different seasons where they've added lightsabers, even before Disney purchased any part of Epic Games. They've already had mini passes, like I've said, with different skins, and they've had a bunch of skins in the shop. And that makes me wonder, what are they even going to do for a season like this? What are they going to do when it comes to skins? It's going to have to be the most niche, obscure characters that only the most hardcore Star Wars fans would even know about. Or maybe they'd reskin some already existing ones, but at that point, that's just boring because it's just a reskin of something that already exists. And if you want Darth Vader, a reskin of Darth Vader, which is the only one I could think of that would actually be pretty cool to see. They've already done a pretty cool remixed Darth Vader skin that is like a samurai or something. I don't exactly know. It is pretty cool. mean, it's not as cool as the original one. You can't get the original one anymore because they've already done that in Chapter 3 Season 3's Battle Pass, and that is a skin that apparently cannot come back because we cannot bring back any Battle Pass before Chapter 5 Season 4. That just still doesn't make sense to me, and I really do feel like they will change their stance on that one day, but regardless, for now, that's what they're going with. And that leads me to another problem, which isn't really a problem nowadays. Of course, like I said, that they did kind of fix it, but for the Chapter 2 Season 4 Battle Pass, which was the very first Marvel season, you can't have access to any of those. So when you lock a bunch of different collabs to one Battle Pass, it just creates problems, or not as much now, like I said, but those particular skins still have that problem, and we would have never been in that predicament in the first place if you just didn't have a Marvel season to begin with. Looking at other games as well, because I feel like this is a very important part of where my opinion comes from with this. When I see a particular franchise being done in multiple different games that I play, that ends up being quite boring for one, but also everything just starts to blend together, and it makes all of these games almost feel too similar to one another. I go to different games because I want a different experience and I want to break from whatever particular game I'm not playing at the time. I don't want to see the exact same stuff in this game that I see in another game. For an example, in Fortnite, they have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I go over to Call of Duty, they have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I cannot get away from this. Or an even better example is Tomb Raider with Lara Croft. They have a Lara Croft skin in Fortnite that, as we all know, is a very popular skin, especially with players that are quote-unquote sweaty, as people like to call them. And then, of course, you go over to Call of Duty, there's Lara Croft. You go over to Rainbow Six Siege, there's Lara Croft. I don't understand why these companies have to partner with everybody. Well, I do know because they sell. Okay, I get it, it's a business, but it's still frustrating from a player perspective when you see it over and over and over again. Or like the boys in Call of Duty, now it's in Rainbow Six Siege. Now I'm going to see Homelander in Rainbow Six Siege now after seeing him in Call of Duty for the last 2 years. It's just kind of annoying seeing the same characters that you know are not original to the game over and over and over again. I don't know, I just don't think that it's something that we need to be seeing as often as we do. I know it was 4 years in between the last collab season. I thought we were done with the idea of collab seasons. I thought we were going back to the balance that is just having collabs in the Battle Pass, but the actual theme of the season is something unique for the game and not just an entire franchise. I think that that is how it needs to be. That's how it should have been from the beginning, and I don't think that should ever change. And maybe it won't change overall. Maybe these are just some rare moments, some rare seasons that are just going to be injected into the game. Like I said, I keep saying injected because that's what it feels like. It feels like a giant ad when I load up the game, and on the main loading screen, you'll see like Star Wars characters or something, or Marvel characters, whatever it might be. It's just a bit frustrating, you know what I mean? It's just a bit frustrating to always be reminded of these particular characters. And like I said, going back to these other franchises, when I see the same franchises over and over and over again, it doesn't make me want to watch the show or movie or whatever it's based off of. It just makes me kind of despise all of this stuff that's going on, and it's pretty annoying. And it's never going to go away because people buy it, and I mean, I don't blame anyone for buying it. For an example, if they did make a Breaking Bad season, I mean, I would like that a lot. That would be fantastic. Imagine being able to run around as Walter Hartwell White, aka Heisenberg, or Jesse Pinkman, Saul Goodman, even Mike Ehrmantraut. Imagine that. Or Gustavo Fring, man. There's so many different characters they could put in a Fortnite Breaking Bad Battle Pass. But I'm saying for the overall community of the game, I don't think that's a great idea. I don't think that that would be a good fit for the game. I don't think Star Wars is a good fit for an entire season. I just don't think that's how it should work. We're talking about two very different franchises, and I think that it would be better off if they had a Breaking Bad collab in the item shop instead of an entire battle pass. I just think, like I said, when you're putting it into a battle pass and you're making an entire season around it, you can't ignore it. You go into the game, you're going to see some sort of items that are specific to that franchise, and you just can't ignore it if you have no interest in it. It's just part of the game. You're going to get, I don't know, for an example, if they had a Breaking Bad season, well, someone's going to be driving around and probably hit you with the RV from Breaking Bad, you know? Like, it's just going to happen. Or I don't know, maybe you'd see something like Tuco's Hop Rock crystals that when you interact with them make you incredibly fast and your damage goes up on your gun or something, and you'd come across that no matter what. I don't exactly know what they would do, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, there's no way you're ignoring that because you're gonna get one pumped by goddamn Gustavo Fring, and it just doesn't make much sense to have in Fortnite. I think it's better when the game at least tries to be original, okay? And while they're doing a lot better of a job with that balance nowadays than they did in like Chapter 2, for an example, in my opinion, I think we're now starting to go in the wrong direction again by having more consistent collab seasons. And again, it's always something to do with Disney too. It's never anything to do with something like another game or something. Like if they had a Gaming Legends themed season, I think then I could put this opinion down a little bit, because at least then we're talking about the game collabing with another game. That makes a lot more sense to me me than collabing with a TV show or a movie or something completely different. But I don't know. Some might just call me a hater, but you know what? That's just my opinion. I just think that Fortnite is better without all that stuff all the time. I think it's better if we keep the collabs in the item shop, and I just think that it's a little overdone nowadays. And again, nothing's going to change based off my opinion here, but I just wanted to share that opinion. Maybe there's other people who agree with that. I don't know. But anyways, that is going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed it, like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here and you like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.